So, you know, ask for help, pick up the phone. I mean, you can meet people in person, but, you know, I advocate, you know, asking hundreds of people for help. It's hard to have hundreds of in-person meetings, so.
Did you want to be an entrepreneur from start, or do you have an idea that made you an entrepreneur?
Wanted to be an entrepreneur and then found the idea. I don't have any statistics to know how typical that is or not. I've certainly met people. I've met more people that had an idea, started a company, than it seems I've met people that just wanted to be an entrepreneur and figured out something to do. But myself and the two other original co-founders, when we met as freshmen in college, you know, the joke was that we'd start a trucking company if we thought that's where we would make all the money, and three of us would drive the truck, right? And so we worked on a number of different business plans before we finally arrived at something that worked. And again, you know, when I talk about you know, asking for help and picking up the phone and calling people, you know, that advice comes from years of painful experience in trying to not do it that way. Because it's certainly, you know, you know, a computer geek, right, picking up the phone and calling people can be a little bit of a scary proposition. I'd rather just, you know, type and Google and, you know, send emails, and it just doesn't work. And, you know, by the time you go through that enough times, you start to learn that. But, you know, I think committing yourself to being an entrepreneur is sort of step one. Even if you've already got an idea, I think you need to make that commitment, because being an entrepreneur is not like pursuing another career path of, you know, going to corporate America versus going to be a consultant, right? The reality is that being an entrepreneur, I've always described as much more of a lifestyle choice than it is a career path, in that it's something that's going to permeate all aspects of your life. You know, whether you get married and have children, you know, there's no sheltering the business from them. And in fact, if you love being an entrepreneur like I do, the reality is once you finish and sell off or go under, whatever happens with one company, there's no question as to what you're going to do next. You're just going to start another company, right? And I think that making that commitment is key, because it eliminates a fear of failure, right? And so earlier I talked about, you know, you can't be afraid to make mistakes within the company. I think to be a good entrepreneur, you can't be afraid to make mistakes that would destroy the company, or the company doesn't make it, right? Which could be because of something you did, could be bad timing, could be bad research, who knows? You know, anything happens. If you have committed yourself to being an entrepreneur, any individual company is just a point along a path, right? You are trying to be a successful entrepreneur. I happen to be on this company, this company, this company, and you're moving forward. So if one company doesn't make it, well, that's unfortunate. You just keep marching along the path, right? And you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, and that's what it's all about. I mean, that's, you know, the old Babe Ruth statistic that he hit the most home runs and struck out the most, right? I mean, that's, you know, I think that's true of being an entrepreneur as well. So, you know, I would encourage people to make that commitment, even if they've got an idea that they feel really strongly about, that's what they want to start the company around. You know, you have to ask yourself, is being an entrepreneur what you really want to do? Because it's, again, it's something that you just won't be able to get away from. Your friends might make fun of you, your friends will talk about it at parties or whatever. It's always going to be a point of discussion, right? Everyone's going to want to know how it's going, and it won't always be going well, and, you know, you have to deal with that. So, you know, believe me, when I had made that commitment, and when I was a senior getting ready to graduate, my father would call me and ask me how the job interviews were going, and I told him I wasn't interviewing with anybody because I didn't want the temptation of somebody saying, oh, I'm going to pay you $50,000, $60,000 a year to come be a computer programmer for whatever, some company, right? I wasn't going to do that. I was going to be an entrepreneur. I'm starting my own thing, and you know, and he would give me grief, and that's so it goes. But it all worked out now, right? He's very pleased with the result. But you know, you'll get a lot of. It's not the most common life path, right? I mean, there certainly are a lot of entrepreneurs. It's not uncommon, but as a percentage, there's going to be a lot more people that work 9 to 5, 9 to 6, and view their life working in that way. So it's you get a lot of doubters in there. I think less and less often now, but it used to be, I think, a big problem in the Midwest and Indiana in general, is that it's just such a conservative state, conservative area, that the concept of being 21 years old and trying to go raise venture capital money and start a company wasn't widely accepted. I wouldn't say it's completely accepted anywhere, but certainly in Silicon Valley that would be much more common than it is here. But I think that's changing. I think the success of young entrepreneurs globally has everybody's eyes open a lot more than it would have been, say, 10 or 15 years ago.